Hey there, YouTube. I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope your week is off to a good start. If you're in the United States, hope you had a nice holiday weekend. We're able to get out and have a little bit of fun. It's just been a very quiet weekend here. We're so close to the beach, about 60, 70 miles, that I think a lot of our town has always, even since I lived here as a kid, checks out and goes to the beach for the holiday weekends. But anyhow, today I'm here to talk to you about why I eat what I eat on a mostly raw food diet. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I'd really appreciate if you go down and hit that subscribe button now. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you will stay subscribed to the channel. I've been having a conversation, email conversation, going with a nice young lady the last few days. She wrote to me to ask about some questions about raw food, cooked food versus cooked food, and different things in very cold environments. And yeah, I mean a very cold environment. And it just kind of, as I was going back and forth with her and answering and listening to what she had to say, it just kind of made me think about why exactly I eat what I do and how I do. I can be a little hard to follow sometimes because I just don't quite fit in there anywhere. I'm not a full-on raw foodist. The raw is raw all the time. And I'm also not one of those on the other side that eats a ton of cooked food and says the raw thing is stupid, you shouldn't eat raw food. So I'm kind of like this weird hybrid, I think, that people just don't quite know how to process. In other words, I don't have a niche. I don't fit in with the raw. I don't fit in with the cooked people, but that's all right. I've never fit in anywhere. But anyhow, I got to thinking about why I eat the things that I eat. And it's just very utilitarian for me. It's been like that since day one. And for anybody that's been watching me for a long time has probably heard me say this from time to time. This has never been a channel. I've never been here to tell you this is the way, this is the truth, this is how you should do it. You should eat this, you shouldn't eat that. Since day one, this has just been me doing what I do and showing you, reporting. It's kind of like I'm letting you watch an experiment as it unfolds. So, I eat what I eat. I'm not trying to be part of a group. I'm not trying to be the rawest law. I'm not trying to fit under a label. I eat what I feel I need to eat right now. And as I'm always evolving and I'm always going down that road, I'm always tweaking and I figure out different things and I figure out different even reasoning for why I'm doing what I'm doing. Well, the young lady I was talking with back and forth in this email, like I say, we were talking about raw versus cooked in cold environments, in really cold environments. And I just got to thinking about the things that I eat cooked and about the things that I eat raw and about how long I've been raw and about how I did it differently in the tropics, a little bit differently in the tropics than I do it here. One of the things that came up, and this just shows how this is just like my private journey, and it's not just me like reaching all over the place. Just one of my things that I probably should do a little bit more of, since I have a channel, since I have a brand, since I'm on Instagram, since I'm on a lot of places, that I don't do that I might should do, is I don't research things that don't really affect me or that I just don't have much interest in. So I get questions about grains all the time. Everybody's got their opinion on grains. There's the hardcore raw people that gives you something like fog brain, and grains are bad. And the raw folks, they have all their little slogans. I don't know all the slogans. And then there's people on the other side who I'm not sure I don't agree with anymore, that are just like always preaching grains and grains are great and you need your grains and grains. I'm just like, I don't really have any interest in grains, yay or nay. It's just not something that I gravitate towards. And that's how I said this whole lifestyle has been to a large extent. Now, not 100%. I do my research. I study things. But the grains, I don't naturally go for rice if I get hungry. The cooked carbs that I eat are potatoes. And most specifically, most of the time are sweet potatoes. The only time I don't eat other potatoes is when I can't get enough sweet potatoes. But that's just natural for me. If I'm going to eat some cooked food, if I need to bulk up a little bit, if I want something on a salad, I go for a potato. Just my natural instinct, I go for a sweet potato. I don't look for rice. I don't look for pasta. I don't know about gluten. I'm going to be really honest with you. As much as people talk about gluten, I don't have a fucking clue. I mean, I know what gluten is, but it's just like, doesn't affect me. I never had a problem with it, although I probably am gluten free. I just don't know that much about it, so it's about how it affects me. So that's why for me, you always hear me talking about sweet potatoes. If you follow me on Instagram, the bulk of the cooked food, let me reiterate again, just because I mention, it's not like just because I open the door and say I eat some cooked food, it's not like I'm eating a ton of cooked food. And a ton of the cooked food that I eat, just had some for lunch, are sweet potatoes. Now, why do I eat sweet potatoes? I'll explain exactly why sweet potatoes, and I'll even explain on a bigger scale of why I make my choices in general. I make my choices in general for a lot of different reasons. How they make me feel is number one, though. How do they make me feel energetically? What does a meal do to me? This is a big one right here. If I eat this meal, no matter how big and no matter how big it is, how am I going to feel after that meal? I can eat my weight in ice cream. I can eat probably 1,000, 1,200 calories in one sitting with ice cream, and I could go out and run. I could go out and work out. I could do anything physical right after doing that. Smoothie, the same way. I can bang out one of those big green smoothies you've seen me here, heard me talk about. A lot of times, 8 bananas, 9 bananas, plus as much kale as I can put in there. Sometimes with chia seeds, sometimes with lentil sprouts. So another one, 1,000 calories, 1,200 calories, boom, I can go outside, work out, run, do whatever immediately afterwards. Sweet potatoes are the closest thing to that out of the cooked food. They digest as close to fruit, as close to raw food as anything else for me. Like for me, the sweet potatoes, if I had a couple of sweet potatoes, 2 or 3 sweet potatoes to my salad, one of my massive big salads, same thing. I can go outside, I can work out, I can run, I could do work, I could do whatever. Limitless energy. Now, when I start getting a little, out of bounds past that, which I still don't have a problem with from time to time, like yesterday, here's a good example of that. Had to go down to Pensacola yesterday, pick up some supplies at my little store down there where I get different things that I can't get here. And I went by my vegan restaurant. First time I'd been to Pensacola in a month since I took Amanda down there to get her rental car. First time in a month, I said, I'm going to go get some fun food. And I got a couple of things there. I got a wrap. No, I got 2 wraps. I had a wrap for lunch, and then I brought home this little burrito thing for dinner. The burrito had some black beans in it. It had some faux cheese in it. It had some different things. I forgot what the other one was, portobello wrap. But I ate those things, and I was just kind of blah. I got home yesterday afternoon from driving, and I was just like, zero energy. And one thing I kind of was figuring out when this pandemic first started, because I'd go to Pensacola more often then, was that I was probably gonna start drifting away from ordering the food like restaurant vegan food, like what a lot of people call comfort vegan food, because it's just one thing too I want to make clear. I don't like exaggeration. It always kind of irks me, these people that are raw, that eat one bite of something cooked and they have all this dramatic, like, oh my God, my stomach swelled up to 4 times its size. I felt bad for 2 weeks. My hair fell out. I'm like, bullshit. Stop exaggerating. So I just want to make it clear. I wasn't sick. I didn't have a bad stomach. I wasn't feeling horrible. Just didn't have my energy level. I got home. I didn't feel like going out and doing something. I didn't feel like going to the park for a walk. All I wanted to do was just lay down and take a nap. Not the same with the cooked food that I like to eat, and that's actually something that I've decided from this point on. Everything is going to be really focused for my nutrition. That's all it's about. It's my nutrition. As I'm getting back, I'm looking over here. I've got my TRX hanging. I'm getting more and more accustomed to working out with that, getting back into the workout thing. I want to get my calories in. When we get into the winter, I'll probably work on, working out heavier, put some weight on. But I want to eat very clean. I want to eat very nutritious. So from now on, I'm even going to tighten up, hone down a little bit more. Everything I'm eating, cooked or raw, I want to know why I'm eating that. Now, I'm not a fanatic. I'm not saying there's no exceptions. I won't ever have a bite of this or take something like that. But for the most part, day to day, I want everything to be for a reason. And the sweet potatoes have helped me so much with my weight. I struggled with like trying to put some weight on, trying to keep some weight on for the longest time, and just throwing a few of those sweet potatoes on my salads help immensely. Another thing that I eat cooked more so over the last year, because like I was talking about in the video two videos ago, you can go back and or no, last video, you can go back and check it out, as the one on legumes for a healthy plant-based diet. I believe strongly in the legumes. Some people do, some people don't. So for probably the last year, I've been focusing on eating more beans. And I'd say I've up to about a month ago, I was probably eating beans a couple, sometimes 3 times a week. Then I just got into my groove of just keeping the sprouts going, the lentil sprouts, all the time. So now that I have lentil sprouts in my fridge all the time, I prefer the lentil sprouts because they've got more nutrition in them anyway. They're better for you. So I'm eating maybe the cooked beans. I'm eating maybe once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, but I'm getting those raw sprouts in almost every day. If I don't get them in my salad, I get them in my smoothies. But I'm a big believer, one way or the other. If you're going to have them, if you want to stay raw, sprout. But if not, don't beat yourself up. Eat some good clean black beans. Eat some good clean lentils, whatever. But I do believe in those. But that's why I eat those. And two, extra protein. It's like I like getting these little extra bursts of protein with different things. Yeah. Everything has protein in it, even the leafy greens. But when you're working out, I like the lentil sprouts. I like the hemp seeds. I like the spirulina. I like anything that gives me, a little bit extra of that protein in there without actually going to a protein powder. I'm just not, I ain't trying to get swole, and I doubt seriously I'm ever going to go to a protein powder because I can just get it in those extra things, and I like those things. So yeah, so that's why I eat the sweet potatoes. That's why I eat the lentils or even when I'm cook them. But for the most part, the closer I am to raw, or the closer I am to eating the cooked foods that react in my body like raw, the better I feel. So yes, I to some extent I have that somewhat of a sympathetic thing for the totally raw people, because I do feel it. I do feel it. But I just don't have to have every bite of my food, raw to feel good. And like I say, I'm not going to give up on different aspects of my nutrition that I feel that I'm adding in with that. But everything, like I say, it's about the energy. I got off on another tangent when I was talking about I do it number one, or not even number one. There's no ranking of the reasons. I do it for the energy, how I feel after I eat, how my food affects me, my digestion, going to the bathroom. How many times a day do I go? What's the quality of that? Just like how is the machine working? You know what I'm getting at. You can kind of put it all, there's like an overall in your head. You know how the whole machine is doing by how your energy's going, how your elimination is going, how your digestion feels. Do you feel bloated? And I feel good all the time until I do something, or until I start going and steadily feeling like something's not working here. Something doesn't feel right. I just don't feel good. I don't know what it is. There would be no reason for me, just because somebody says, well, so-and-so says this, or I read this, or I don't believe this. You do you. I'll never be the guy to sit here and say, I'm right. I'm following a superior diet. I'm just doing what makes me feel good, what works for me, in this moment. If I feel something different next year, I'll start doing it. But, I've been doing it. June was 8 years. I feel great every day. I'm 56 years old. I'm not getting any younger. I'm not getting any prettier, and that's not going to reverse, but I feel good. I feel good, I'm able to go out and do things that, unfortunately, I don't see a lot of people my age doing. They just look like they're old people. They move like they're old people. I feel good. I'm active. I go out for walks. I work out. But it's all about how you feel. if you would factor that a little bit more into what you're putting in your mouth. And if you think about that, it's even sort of a motivation. I know people talk about their struggles with addictions and emotional eating, and I want this and I want that. But don't you want that feeling? Like, if you can feel, like, if you can get to a certain point of feeling good and stay there for about 6 months, that's all it took for me to be like, good God, why would I ever do anything else? The way I feel keeps me on my path. That's why you don't see me going up and down, up and down, up and down. Think about that. Think about all your favorite raw people. I was looking at some this morning. Oops, so-and-so looks like they've put on 20 pounds, but they're fully raw all the time, only eating fruit, only doing juice feast. How does that compute? I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Up and down, up and down, up and down. One thing I can say for myself, and go back and look through my videos, I don't gain unwanted weight. I don't go up and down. I'm always moving forward, always moving forward. So, like I say, just you do you. But find what feels good for you. Find what feels right for you, and don't justify things. Some people will try to fool themselves in their head, like, well, this works for me. No, it doesn't. If you're really listening to yourself, you don't feel the best you can feel. You don't feel the best you can feel, or you would eat according to that. As soon as it was like a drug for me. Going back 8 years or so, and like I say, it took me a while to figure out the different nuances and add this in, and I'll feel a little bit more solid, a little bit more better. But it didn't take me very long at all before I'm like, no, I'm not going to fall off the way that I eat because I just feel too good. Why would I? It would be insane for me to change the way I eat. It would be insane for me to eat bad things because I like feeling like I feel all the time. So anyhow, I'm solid with what I eat. I'm happy with what I eat, and I'm content at the choices I've made. You should be too. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you again in a couple of days. Peace.